All right, everyone, welcome back into another NFL DFS video. My name is Eric Paulzine with 9 to 5 Sports. Going to be getting into the top picks and plays here for the Thursday night football game. We got the Miami Dolphins versus the Cincinnati Bengals, and it's kind of crazy that pretty much the Thursday night football games have been much better, much more appealing than the Sunday night football and the Monday night football games thus far, and that does not change, at least for this Thursday night football game, between, the Miami Dolphins, the 3-0 team, they just took down the Buffalo Bills, and then the Cincinnati Bengals, who I kind of expected. I don't think a lot of other people expected it. Kind of a slow start for them. So interesting stuff there. I think it's going to be a fun game. Let's get into the picks. Real quickie, though, if you guys do enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe. That does help out the channel a lot, which then allows me to help you guys out. So let's get into it. We're going to start off with the Miami Dolphins side of the football. So currently we have Jalen Waddle questionable. I think he's going to play. He's expected to play. And then Tua Tagovailoa is also questionable to play. If Tua were to sit, I don't really think that would change much on the slate. I just don't, okay? The only difference would become is you could maybe play Teddy instead of Tua, value-wise. But Tua is expected to play, so we don't have to worry about it. And honestly, given the matchup with the Bengals, who have been a little bit better defensively than I saw coming, I just don't think we can play Tua at his price point, and you'll see why as we go through the lineups. So obviously the offense, they wanted to flow through Tyreek Hill, okay, and that didn't really happen in week 3. I do expect him to have a bounce back game. And then Jalen Waddle, those two, they just want to get those two a lot of targets, okay? With Tua a little bit banged up, they weren't able to do much offensively, okay? I don't want to say that backdoored into a victory, but they kind of did because their offense wasn't exactly there. It ended up being Chase Edmonds getting, 2 touchdowns. But Chase Edmonds is not the running back number 1 in this offense right now, currently. He had 2 short touchdowns that could have easily went to their current RB1, which is Raheem Mostert. Okay, Mostert has outsnapped him twice now in a row. He had 40% of the snaps in week 1, and has been over 55% of the snaps in week 2 and week 3. He didn't catch 2 of his targets last week. That hurt him. And, the running game just wasn't there. The running game was minimal. But I like Mostert much better, just given the fact that he has been treated as the top running back in this offense. And so the price difference between Mostert and Edmonds is significant enough. I mean, it's almost $2,000. You're getting the RB1 at a cheaper price point. And so if we're playing one of the running backs, it just makes more sense to play Mostert instead of Chase Edmonds. Yes, I know Chase Edmonds fell into the end zone twice, but that could easily happen for Mostert this time. So from there, I want to point out Durham Smythe, who the snap counts for him are interesting. 63% of the snaps in week 1, 49% of the snaps in week 2, and then last week, 74% of the snaps. And that comes at the hands of Mike Gesicki getting 42, 62, and 40% of the snaps. So just off of that, just off of playing time, we can chase playing time, especially when we're trying to find value on a showdown slate. Durham here makes a lot more sense as a play value-wise. Is he going to help you a lot? Probably not. Probably not going to do much for you. And I wish he was at that $200 price point. DraftKings saw his snaps go up and they priced him up correctly. Do you have to play him? No. Can you play him? Sure, you can. Okay, he's not a terrible play. And I do want to point out Trent Sherfield at a discounted price point. He did play around 35% of the snaps in week 1 and week 2, and then last week 63% of the snaps. Now, is that going to change? I don't know. But if we're going to get a guy who's playing a decent amount of snaps, and maybe in a game in which the Bengals are favored to win by 3.5 points, maybe the Finns are playing from behind, maybe they have to throw the ball a little bit more. Maybe they have to go to more 3 receiver sets, and then Sherfield becomes a play, an okay value play. Doesn't take much for him to value. 3 catches maybe is all he needs, okay? And if the defense is putting a lot of attention on Hill and Waddle, then Sherfield could be a play. And really, we're going to see defenses try to keep the ball in front of them. But at the same time, they're going to be pressing. It's tough. It's tough to defend the Dolphins for sure. So who from the Dolphins do I want to be on? Well, I still think we want to be on Tyreek Hill, and I still think we want to be on Jalen Waddle. But you guys will see, just based off of the lineup process that I like, is that it's very tough to play both of Waddle and Hill in a build. And I'll touch on that now as I get into the Bengals, because the Bengals side of the ball, I actually really like. I like them a little bit more. You got Joe Burrow in the best matchup for a quarterback thus far this season. And now, yes, the Miami Dolphins have went against 2 MVP candidates already. Okay, Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. It's kind of expected that they would, dominate each and every week pretty much. But the Finns didn't really provide much resistance to those quarterbacks. Allen was able to do what he needed to do, and Lamar Jackson certainly was. Joe Burrow, I do expect to have a better game. Kind of a slow start, even against Pittsburgh. He threw 4 interceptions, didn't look good, but he was still able to get 26 DK points. And that just comes with this offense, especially if they are playing from behind. He threw the ball 53 times from there against Dallas, which is a little bit better defense than I thought. around 17 DK points. And then, week 3 against the Jets, who's also not a terrible defense, 23 DK points. So now he gets a really strong matchup against the Miami Dolphins. He should be able to go out and dominate. If you can afford to put Joe Burrow into your captain spot, I think that'd be the route I want to go. That's the difficult part, is being able to fit him into your captain spot. So for now, I'm just going to put him into my flex. So I think kind of the expectation on the slate is that Jamar Chase is going to get that Xavier Howard shadow, which, yes, that should provide some resistance. But is that going to change the amount of targets Jamar Chase gets? Maybe slightly. Maybe. Is he going to get 16 like he did in week 1? Probably not. But can he get like 7 to 9 targets? Sure. And he's gotten over 9 targets every game thus far this season. So I think the targets are still going to be there for him. Xavier Howard did get beat by Rashad Bateman, of all people, earlier on in week 2, mostly just on one slant play, one big slant play. It was like a chunk play. That went for a touchdown. Besides that, Xavier Howard has pretty much been a stud. So Jamar Chase should not have a high-end ceiling game. Can he still get to like 15 DK points with volume and possibly a short touchdown? He certainly can, guys. He certainly can. And that's kind of the problem here, okay? I like Jamar Chase, but I don't know. I might end up fading him because I do really want to be on Joe Burrow. And if we are fading Jamar Chase, then we kind of have to go with T. Higgins. T. Higgins, the receiver number 2 in this offense, I like a ton. Didn't do much in week 1. And then had 2 bounce back weeks, 10 targets last week or in week 2, and then 7 targets last week, over 10 DK points in both of those games. I personally love putting T. Higgins in the captain spot as well. We knew he got banged up a little bit earlier on this year. He seems to be fine. And so I kind of do just want to go T. Higgins in the captain spot. I also want to point out the fact that Joe Mixon has been playing a ton of snaps, has been getting a ton of volume, guys. The opportunities are there. 19 last week, 23 in week 2, and then way too many in week 1. He hasn't really done much with them. He hasn't really looked good, okay? And actually, Samaje Perine came in last week. It was at the end of the game, but definitely looked better than Joe Mixon has thus far this season in a small sample size. And let's not go crazy with it. Definitely a small sample size, but it wouldn't be shocking to see Perine have earned a little bit more touches and snaps. And I'm not saying anything crazy here. Like it could be 35 to 65. Pete Ryan's getting 35% snaps, maybe even 40. Like Joe Mixon's still going to be the leader in this backfield, but Pete Ryan might have played his way into more playing time, and Mixon kind of might be on to prove it. Like, hey, you want to play this much? You want to get that many opportunities per game? Well, you gotta show us, because what you've shown us lately is crap. So I could see that happening as well. Tyler Boyd at his price point is certainly something I think we can play. Obviously, Tyler Boyd is kind of a hit or miss play. I do think if Jamar Chase struggles, obviously T. Higgins I think will have a great game, but I also do think Tyler Boyd would have a good game. That's kind of how it goes. You're kind of just picking 2 out of the 3 Bengals receivers and hoping you're on the correct 2, okay? And then with the Finns, I think the strategy is be on Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle, and then hope that you're on the correct one. Like if I'm using the 9-to-5 lineup builder, I'm kind of doing that. I'm putting like a max of those 2 players for the Bengals, and then either or for Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. That's how I would attack this slate. So Tyler Boyd I like a ton, and then we just like this would kind of be my optimal approach if I could go that route. Obviously we can't, so let's see what we can do. Maybe we go off of Jalen Waddle. And then we're just at a strange price point here. We are. What can we make work? I don't, if Tua's banged up, like I don't hate the idea of Bengals defense at that price point. Like it's not a terrible idea, but then I feel like we're on the Bengals a little bit too much, and that doesn't really provide us any opportunity to play up for a better play. That's the issue there that I'm having. Like you could go Joe Mixon, and then you're just at a weird price point. Like if I could get to Trent Sherfield, I would like that. That'd be better. That'd be the route I'd want to go. We're $100 off. I don't like that part. Like if we wanted to go Mostert, you could, but then we're stuck with like maybe Gesicki or Hayden Hurst, which both of them, they just haven't been playing as much as I would want or being used as much as I would want. So you might just be better off just paying down somewhere. Maybe you go with Smythe, maybe you go with Sherfield. So we'll put Sherfield in there, see who we can get. Like we're not really getting anyone better in this build. So the problem that I've been having is exactly this. Maybe you go with Waddle instead and try to pay up for someone else. You can certainly fit in Joe Mixon or Tua with this build now, which, that can work. I'd be fine with that. That's perfect. We like that. If you want to go that route, sure, by all means. So kind of the route that I've been going is going the other way. Like I've been going with Tua instead and putting Tyler Boyd into the captain spot. And that's really what you got to decide. And this is where I'm saying, hey, it goes either way. Like you just got to be on the correct Dolphins players pretty much is what it comes down to. So do you want to be on T. Higgins in the captain spot with Jalen Waddle as the receiver, or do you want to be on Tyler Boyd in the captain spot with Tyreek Hill in the build? That's the question that we're asking ourselves. It is nice that we have some solid lineup paths and we know the decisions that we have to make so we can make around 6 to 7 builds in which we are chasing kind of the optimal approach for those builds. But that's all I have for you guys for this Thursday night video. If you guys enjoyed the video, please give me a like, subscribe. I do appreciate that. If you guys want to join a props-based daily fantasy sports app, we got Sports Battle app, which is the sponsor of today's video. I got the flyer up on the screen there for you guys. Check it out. Use the promo code 9, spelled out TO5, to get a $5 cash back on a deposit of $50 or more instantly. All right, thanks for watching, guys. And as always, let's keep cashing.